Summary of Second Treatise of Government by John Locke. In the beginning, Locke addresses the reader directly and says that he hopes his writing will support King William's right to be King of England. People agree with King William to be in charge, which is the only legal way to run a government. Locke also tries to show that Sir Robert Filmer's points are wrong, saying that Filmer's writing is full of doubtful expressions and glib nonsense. Locke says that having the wrong ideas about government is the most dangerous thing there is. He will listen to any good case against this, but he also tells the reader that good arguments don't lead to complaining and fighting. Locke doesn't agree with Filmer's claim that God gave Adam power over the world or a natural right to be a father. Locke says that this power does not pass on to Adam's children and grandchildren, even if Adam was given it. Also, Adam lived a long time ago, so it is hard to prove that his offspring exist now. Because of this, power cannot come from such a source. To begin, Locke explains what he means by political power, which is the right to make and uphold laws that protect the commonwealth, keep property safe, and work for the public good. Locke says that this kind of power is different from all other kinds of power. To understand power in politics, you need to know about the state of the world. When you are out of organized society, you are in a state of nature. In this state, everyone is free and equal. Locke says that a state of liberty is not the same as a state of license. There is a rule in nature that says no one can hurt someone else's life, liberty, health, or property. Since there is no government in nature and everyone is equal, everyone has the right to punish people who break the law, because the only legal ways to hurt someone else are to control them or make up for it. Locke agrees that people can be unfair and violent, and that one person can punish or control another person too much. In this way, civil government is how people try to control their violent tendencies. Enmity and destruction are what Locke calls a state of war. And because everyone has the right to self-preservation, they can kill anyone who makes war on them, just like they would a cat or dog. When someone has complete control over someone else, they are at war. People live in a state of nature when everything is fair and peaceful, but people live in a state of war when everything is violent. In nature, there is no single judge, so people made society to avoid bloodshed and set up a single judge through which to argue what they see as wrongs. Locke says that since everyone is born with the right to self-preservation, they are also born with the right to whatever nature gives them for food. Everyone on earth was given it by God, but each person also had the right to own their own land. Anyone has the right to the labor of his body and the work of his hands, which means that anything they take from nature is theirs. Let's say someone collects nuts, which are naturally found in trees. Those acorns then become their property, and they have the right to protect it. Any land is the same. The land belongs to the person who tills, plants, and harvests it. As with anything else, there are limits to what people can take from nature. People should only take what they need and enough to eat or use before it goes bad. After that, Locke talks about parental power, which he describes as the power parents have over their kids. This power belongs to both the father and the mother of a child until that child is old enough to understand it. Children are not part of any society or government until they can think for themselves. Until then, they are completely controlled by their parents. The strongest fans of the monarchy think that kings should rule because they are fathers, but Locke says that giving a ruler complete power means you will never be free. The power parents have over their kids is only limited and doesn't cover their lives or their things. If all the power in politics lies with the prince, then the people who work for him can't have any of it. So, parental power can only go from parent to child, since a parent doesn't have the power to rule. Locke says that because everyone is born free and equal, no one can be ruled or controlled by someone else without their clear agreement. For a society to be democratic, there must be clear laws, a fair judge, and the ability to follow through on the laws and sentences given by the judge. When someone leaves a state of nature to join a commonwealth, they give up their right to self-preservation and the power to punish people who break the rules. Instead, they give these rights to the commonwealth. In every commonwealth, the first rule is to set up a governing power, which is the highest power of the Commonwealth. By making laws, the legislative protects the Commonwealth and everyone who lives in it. However, the legislative cannot use its power in a random way. In a Commonwealth, the executive is in charge of carrying out the laws made by the legislative, and the federative is in charge of war and peace with other commonwealths. The power of these groups comes from the people, and all groups with power must always work for the good of the people, but only with their permission. Conquest, invasion, and tyranny are all examples of outside forces that can bring down a government. But internal forces can also do it. Locke says that a government can't last if the legislature is changed. People don't have to follow rules that aren't fair. If a king makes his people follow random rules or gives them over to a foreign power, the legislature changes and the government is no longer functional. If a king gives up his throne and there is no way to carry out his orders, the government falls apart again, and the Commonwealth has to start over. People have the right to fight back if the government doesn't always work for the good of the Commonwealth. Locke says it is up to the people to decide if their government is working against them. If the government has done something bad to the people, it loses its power and it goes back to the Commonwealth and the people. They will rule until a new government is built.
About the author. Locke was born in Rington, Somerset, England. Locke started going to school at Westminster School in 1647, which is one of the oldest public schools in London. In 1652, he went to Christ Church, Oxford, which is a college of the University of Oxford in England. Locke got his first degree in 1656 and his second degree in 1658. He became interested in medicine while he was at Oxford. After learning on his own for a while, he went back to Oxford and finished in 1675 with a Bachelor of Medicine. In 1683, Locke was linked to the Rye House Plot, a plan to kill King Charles II of England. It is not clear if Locke was involved in the plan or not, but he ran away to the Netherlands anyway and stayed there until the Glorious Revolution overthrew Charles II and installed a Protestant, James II, as king. This ended the rule of Roman Catholics as kings for good. Locke wrote a lot while he was in exile, and when he got back to London in 1688, he released a number of works, such as an essay concerning human understanding and a letter concerning toleration. Ashley made Locke write 2 treatises of government in 1689. He died at Lady Masham's house in 1704, when he was 72 years old. Locke made huge contributions to Western thought and the standards of literature. He wrote some of the most important philosophical books and is often called the father of liberalism.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.